The night my wife threw me out of the house, I had just returned from burying my mother. There was still red sand on my shoes from the graveside. My shirt reeked of sweat, tears, and coffin dust. I hadn't eaten all day. My mouth was dry, my limbs were weak, and my chest was hollow. The one thing I was holding on to, just one small comfort, was the thought that when I got home, my wife would open the door, hold me in her arms, and say, "Patrick, I'm sorry about Mummy. Let's get through this together." But when I arrived at the gate, I saw 3 black nylon bags waiting outside like trash for the morning bin collectors. One look at the bags, and my spirit froze. My shoes stopped moving. The front door swung open, and there she was, Nkechi, my wife, the mother of my 3 children. She didn't look shocked to see me. She didn't look worried or warm. She looked prepared, cold, distant. Behind her stood a man I'd never seen before, holding a half-filled wine glass and scratching his beard like he owned the place. "Patrick," she said, her voice flat, "please don't make this harder than it already is. You can't stay here tonight." I blinked. "What? You can't sleep here?" "Not anymore. Not ever again." I looked at the bags, then at her. "What's going on?" "You've been gone for days. Patrick, you didn't even ask how I was coping. We live in the same house, but we've been strangers for months. You knew my mother was dying, and I respected that," she said, folding her arms. "But you chose her over your marriage." I stared at her. "You're saying this to me after 16 years?" She shrugged like it was nothing. "It's been over for a long time. I just didn't want to say it. 16 years ago, I met Nkechi during NYSC. She had just broken down in tears in front of a bank in town. Her uncle had cut off her allowance, her phone was dead, and she had nowhere to sleep. I gave her my extra mattress, paid her transport, and walked her to her new PPA. 3 years later, we were married. I was earning 45,000 naira as a school bursar. She was job hunting with a diploma in business admin. We started with nothing but love. We lived in a face me, I face you for 2 years. She stuck with me through my early struggles. I respected her for that. Every time I failed an interview, she told me, "Don't worry, baby. One day we'll look back and laugh." I finally got a breakthrough when I joined a logistics firm as a junior account officer. From there, I climbed slowly but surely. I bought our first secondhand car, paid rent, bought land, built a 4-bedroom duplex from scratch in 6 years. I didn't chase women. I didn't drink. My whole life was built around Nkechi and our 3 children. But it was around our 13th wedding anniversary that something shifted. She got promoted, managerial role, new office, new circle of friends. She began staying out late, started doing her nails every weekend, wearing perfume I couldn't pronounce, and locking her phone like a teenager. I noticed the distance, but I blamed myself. I thought maybe I wasn't attentive enough. So I tried, took her out, bought her things. She never looked satisfied. The real signs came when she stopped sleeping in the same room with me, said she had neck pain and needed space. But I stayed patient. I kept telling myself, "She's tired. It's just a phase." Then Mummy fell sick. She was living with us when her kidney began to fail. I did all I could, rushed her to the hospital, paid for dialysis every week. Nkechi never visited once. Not once. Even when I asked, she gave me excuses. Meetings stressed the kids. I was the one running between the hospital, the office, and home every day. Then last week, Mummy died. And that same day, Nkechi didn't attend the burial. She said she had a conference. I looked around me, my clothes stuffed like garbage in bags. A strange man behind her. My children asleep inside the house I built. "This is Clifford," she said. "He's helping me see what peace looks like." "Are you cheating on me?" I asked. She didn't blink. Call it what you want. I looked at the man. He didn't even flinch, didn't greet me. He just sipped his wine like I was some delivery guy. You didn't even let me bury my mother in peace, I said, my voice shaking. I told you not to make this hard. She replied, you'll only embarrass yourself. That night, I drove away slowly, without saying goodbye to my children. I parked by the side of a dark road and sat in the car till morning. My phone battery died. My head pounded. My hands trembled. I stared at the roof of my car until daylight broke. I didn't sleep in that car. I couldn't. I just sat there the whole night, staring through the windscreen like a man who'd lost everything. I wasn't even thinking straight. My mother had just been lowered into the ground. That pain was enough for one man. But now my wife, Nkechi, my wife, had kicked me out like I was some stranger. Not a fight, not a warning. Just, you can't stay here again. That house, I built it. That woman, I carried her through her lowest moments. Those children, my blood. But last night I slept outside, like a dog. By 6:30 a.m., my shirt was still damp from the heat and sweat of the night. I hadn't brushed, I hadn't bathed, but my spirit told me, wait for your kids. Just see them before they go to school. And so I waited by the junction, a short walk from the house. Few minutes later, I saw her, Miriam, my first daughter, 15 years old, same navy blue uniform, same backpack, but something was wrong. She was wiping her eyes as she walked. Her steps were slow. She looked tired. I stepped out of the car quickly. Miriam! She stopped. Her eyes widened. Daddy, she ran to me and hugged me so tight like I was air and she couldn't breathe without me. Where did you go? She asked, tears running down her cheeks. Why did you leave us? I didn't leave you, I said, struggling to keep my own tears in. I swear to you, I didn't. But Mummy said you left because you don't love us anymore. She said you abandoned us. Those words, they cut. Don't believe her, I said. You know me. I would never do that. Uncle Clifford told Deborah to stop crying about you. He said you're not coming back. My hands began to tremble. And he sleeps in your room now, she added, voice trembling. I saw him using your slippers. I stood there for a moment, staring down the street toward the house I wasn't allowed to enter. The house I built, the gate I installed with my own money. My wife had not only replaced me in her heart, she gave another man permission to erase me from my children's lives. Miriam, I said quietly, kneeling in front of her, go to school. I will fix this, okay? I will never leave you. Never. She nodded, wiped her eyes, and entered the school bus when it pulled up. I stood there until the bus drove off. Then I walked back to my car. I didn't turn on the engine. I just sat there, like a man whose chest had been ripped open. That man, Clifford. I had to know who he was. Who was this man bold enough to walk into my house and kick me out? I called my old secondary school friend. Nosa. He worked with a private investigation crew on the side. I gave him everything I'd seen. Height, build, the flashy bends, always wearing designer glasses. 3 hours later, Nosa called back. Bro, that guy is a serial homebreaker. He said, I stayed quiet. He doesn't have a business. All the stories about consulting, fake. He targets married women with good jobs. From what I found, Nkechi is his third victim. He's been arrested before, domestic violence. There's even a case of him duping a woman. Once they open up their homes, he starts living off them. Rent's paid, food stocked, and when he's tired or gets exposed, he moves to the next. I couldn't believe it. So this was the man my wife destroyed our marriage for. I saw signs, I won't lie. Nkechi changed after that promotion. First, it was the late nights. Then the office retreats. Then it was spa receipts in her drawer, perfumes she never wore for me, and a sudden obsession with privacy. But I kept telling myself, she's just trying to find herself. I didn't want to be the man who doubted his wife. I didn't want to be the suspicious husband. I was too trusting. When my mom fell sick, I begged Nkechi to come with me to the hospital. She said she couldn't stand the smell of sickness. That same week, she went for a beach hangout with office friends. I started sleeping in the guest room most nights because of her headaches, her excuses. But I still cooked on weekends, still did school runs, still paid every bill. Even when she stopped praying with me, even when she stopped touching me, even when she started leaving for work without saying goodbye, still I stayed. Because I believed, because I loved. But now it was clear. She had left me long before I noticed. I returned later that evening. I didn't knock violently. I didn't shout. I just knocked. She opened the door halfway. What is it now, Patrick? I need to see my kids. They're asleep. It's just 7 p.m. I said they're asleep. I sighed. I'm not here to fight. I just want to know how we got here. She looked me dead in the eye. You put your mother before me. She was dying. And what about me? She snapped. For years, I have felt like a shadow in this house. You only became alive when she got sick. You forgot I was also your family. I shook my head. So, you replaced me? Just like that. Don't twist this. You were already distant. I just moved on. And Clifford, he listens to me. He sees me. I stared at her, heart thudding. That man will ruin you. She laughed. Don't be bitter, Patrick. You lost me. I turned around and walked away. But I knew it wouldn't end like this. Something inside told me I never prayed for anything bad to happen to her. Even after the betrayal, even after the lies, even after she dragged my name in the mud and told my own children I abandoned them, I still didn't wish Nkechi harm. I just wanted to see my children again, to be present in their lives, and find a way to heal whatever wound she left bleeding inside me. But what happened that Sunday night? I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was around 11:30 p.m. I had just managed to close my eyes when my phone rang. I ignored it. It rang again. I checked. Estate security. Hello. Sir, please come quickly. Your wife is screaming. That man she's living with, he's beating her. I sat up. What? Yes, sir. It's serious. The children are crying. We've called the estate chairman. Please hurry. I didn't even wear trousers. I jumped into my car wearing slippers and boxers. By the time I got there, a small crowd had gathered in front of the house. Neighbors, security men, even the woman from the corner shop, who always greeted me as Oga P. Then I heard it, Nkechi's voice, screaming, "Leave me alone! Please! Clifford, please!" Followed by a loud slap. Then something crashed. I rushed toward the door. It was slightly open. I pushed through and entered. The sitting room was a mess. Throw pillows torn. Center table turned sideways. The TV was cracked. Clifford stood in the middle of the chaos, shirtless, chest rising like a bull. Nkechi was on the floor, face bloodied, her hair ripped from one side. Her hands shook as she tried to crawl away. When he saw me, he laughed. Perfect timing. Come and carry your dog. I stepped between them. Don't touch her again. He walked toward me, and for a split second, I braced myself. But security stepped in, two men grabbing him by the arms. She stole my money, he shouted. After all I did for her, she was seeing another man. I turned to her. Is this true? She didn't answer, just sat there, holding her face, crying silently like someone who had been beaten by truth more than fists. The chairman ordered Clifford out of the estate. He was banned immediately. Security marched him to his car. He turned and spat on the floor before speeding off. I looked down at the woman who once looked down on me. There she was, broken, shivering, disgraced in front of neighbors. The same woman who told me I wasn't man enough. The same woman who said I didn't deserve to live in the house I built. The same woman who let another man wear my slippers, drive my car, and sleep in my bed. Now, she was begging. I left that night without saying anything to her. I just carried Miriam and Emmanuel, Deborah was already sleeping, and took them with me. Nobody stopped me, not even her. I drove to a small apartment I had rented days before. One room, no luxury, but it was peaceful. I laid the children on the mattress and sat down on the bare floor, staring at the ceiling. Everything was silent, except the truth. And the truth was she did this to herself. The days that followed exposed everything she tried to cover. Clifford had emptied her savings account, transferred over 4.2 million Nigerian nairas into a crypto wallet 2 weeks before the fight. She didn't even know until her bank sent her a suspicious transaction alert. She tried to go to the police, but Clifford had vanished. Burner line, fake identity. The man didn't even exist on any valid BVN record. At work, her performance crashed. She started missing deadlines, coming late. Colleagues began gossiping. Her boss, who already suspected she was distracted, called her in. 2 weeks later, she was demoted. Salary slashed in half. The same month, her landlord, because I stopped paying the mortgage when I left, called me to say the house would be reclaimed if no payments were made. I didn't say a word. I let it go. Let them come. I started rebuilding. I registered my children in new schools, rented a modest 2-bedroom flat, and moved in with them. I didn't fight her in court. I didn't block her number. I just walked away completely. Miriam stopped asking about her mother. Emmanuel still asked sometimes, but with less excitement. Deborah, she was too young to understand, but she clung to me more. One evening, 2 months later, there was a knock on my door. It was Nkechi. She looked like a shadow of herself. Hair unkempt, face tired, eyes hollow. She held a small envelope in her hand. I came to say I'm sorry, she said. I didn't reply. She dropped the envelope on the table. Take it. It's the documents for the house. I signed everything over to you. I don't want it anymore. Still, I didn't reply. She looked around the small sitting room and said quietly, "You made this feel like home. Even this little place. I miss the peace you used to bring." I stood up and walked to the door. "You gave all that peace to a stranger." Her lips trembled. "Can I at least talk to the children?" I stepped aside. They came out one by one, stood in silence, and stared at her. She knelt down. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Deborah hid behind me. Emmanuel looked away. Only Miriam stepped forward. "We're okay, Mom," she said, "but we're staying with Dad now." Nkechi broke down on the floor, but I didn't hold her, and I didn't close the door either. 3 months later, my children had adjusted. They no longer asked when their mother would call. They didn't wait at the gate like they used to. The wound had started to close, slowly, painfully, but it was closing. As for me, I was no longer the man who begged to stay in a house I built. I no longer checked my phone, hoping to see her name flash across the screen. I stopped looking back. I stopped blaming myself. I had finally accepted it. Some people will destroy the roof over their own heads and still blame the rain. I was sitting at the back of the small church I now attended every Wednesday evening when I saw her again. Nkechi. She wore a scarf tied carelessly. Her cheeks had caved in a bit. She looked smaller, like someone the world had reduced. When she saw me, she tried to smile, but there was no strength behind it. After the benediction, she waited outside. "Patrick," she said as I approached. "Yes. Can we talk?" I nodded, and we walked a few steps to the side of the road. She breathed out. "I'm not okay. I didn't speak. I lost the job. They let me go last week. Still, I didn't speak. My landlord gave me a quit notice. I don't have money to renew." She wiped her face, then continued. "I've gone everywhere looking for help. Family, friends, nobody picks my calls anymore." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "Patrick, I was foolish. I broke something I can never rebuild. I left gold for gravel. I let a demon into our home, and I didn't see it until he destroyed everything." I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to scream at her, to remind her what she did to me in front of my children, how she humiliated me like I was worthless. But the other part just felt empty. So I asked, "What do you want now?" She looked at the ground. "Just to be in their lives. Please, even if I have to visit once a week. Just give me that." I agreed, but not for her. I agreed for my children, so they won't grow up bitter or confused. I didn't want them to carry the weight of our broken marriage into their own homes. So once every Saturday, Nkechi visits them for 1 hour. She brings juice, sits on the same plastic chair, and tells them stories about when they were babies. Sometimes they smile. Other times, they don't say a word. They're still healing. And so am I. But now I sleep in peace. I lock my own door at night, not afraid that love will walk out or betrayal will walk in. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just wiser. Because sometimes the people you carry like oxygen will turn around and choke you with their own hands. And no matter how good you are, how loyal, how patient, some people will never value you until they've lost you completely. Now I ask you, was I too calm? Should I have fought harder? Did she deserve forgiveness? Or did I do the right thing by walking away in silence? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion matters. And if you're watching this story right now, take a moment to reflect. Would you choose peace over pride or pain over purpose? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories that leave you thinking. Until next time, protect your peace. And never let anyone make you feel like a stranger in your own life.